It's time to share a cup with the lady that presented us with that delightful performance at the top of the show. Her name, I'm not going to get it right, Inge Schluer.
Inge Schluer.
So I'm still not going to get it right. Inge, so the G is silent.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
It's I-N-G-E.
Yes, Inge.
So it's Inge.
Yes.
As in singer.
Without an S.
Whoa.
I get it. Singer.
But you're not a singer.
I actually am, yes. Actually, I started off my music career, well, when I was 3 years old, singing. Well, I was born into the Lydians.
Serious?
Yes, my grandfather and my mother were both singers with the Lydians. My mom actually sang with Chandelier and Carl and Carol Jacobs.
Full soca and
yes, back in the day.
Serious?
So I was born into a singing family.
Right.
And I did up to grade 8 in singing with the Royal School of Music. And then the violin called me.
The violin
because
called you?
there are fewer violinists around. So.
No, but how did the violin call you? Where
Well,
did you see the violin? Where did the connection between Inge and the violin happen? How did that connection?
Well, I'm an only child and I grew up with my grandfather and he just loved watching the Arts Channel. So I spent all my days just watching the Arts Channel with him. And I don't know, the violin was just...
You had a boring childhood?
No, I used to put on my own concerts in the living room.
Serious?
Music was just my friend growing up. And the violin just looked so interesting, you know.
And how old were you then?
I was 7 when I started the violin. With Sylvia Robin and Esther Batson. I did piano with Sylvia Robin and violin with Esther Batson. And after that, I went on to be part of the National Symphony Orchestra as well as the National Youth Philharmonic Orchestra with Kenneth Listrop. And off of that, I just got gigs coming.
So once you started playing the instruments, the piano and the violin, you stopped singing?
Actually, I continued singing up until finishing UE.
Right.
I used to do a lot of singing gigs, singing the anthem for some corporate event.
Right.
And then, yeah, the violin just picked up because everyone sings, you know, not everyone plays the violin.
Right.
So I kind of leaned towards the violin for that.
And you, what made you, I mean, based on what you know now, I mean, you're an accomplished violinist, but what do you think made you lean towards playing the violin?
I just loved it.
No, but tell me about the love. I mean, when someone falls in love with something, they can...
I love the tone of the instrument.
Yeah.
It's so angelic and, you know, so you get to put a lot of emotion into a violin rather...
Like a guitar.
Yeah, you know, it's so... I mean, you could put emotion to any instrument, but violin lends itself to just that much more.
Are you a romantic?
Yes, I would like to call it.
because the violin is, it lends to that sort of romantic type of melodic type music.
Yes.
And that's
yeah.
That's you?
Yes, it is.
That's Inge
Schluer.
Schluer. So tell me about your surname. Where is that?
Well, I'm half German. My dad was German. He's passed now, but
Schluer.
So I have dual citizenship with Germany.
Right.
So yes, I speak a little bit of German.
Yeah, say something in German for me.
Ich spreche Deutsch, ein bisschen. Ja.
Yeah. I don't know how to get back from that. So you spent some time in Germany?
When I was younger, when I was like 3, I spent some time.
Yeah. But you
born and raised in Trinidad. Yes. And actually, I was there earlier this year. I spent some time with some friends and family over there, and spent a lot of this year just traveling. Yes, so this was the year of the travel for me.
Yeah. Playing the violin, and what do you do other than that?
Well, I'm the music teacher at the international school.
Oh, so you teach music.
I teach music, I play music, I live music. Eat, sleep, breathe music.
Yeah.
It's my life.
It's your life.
It really is.
And
it's always been my life.
The violin, I mean, is not an instrument that I would say is popular, and I think that's why
it's so hard.
It is. I was about that. I was leading to that because it's a difficult instrument to play.
It is indeed.
As I said, I mean, I don't want to make the guitar song trivial, but
The thing is with guitar, you'd say, okay, put your hand on this fret, and this fret, strum a chord, you play it. Violin, it'll take a year before you could hold it properly and produce a proper tone, you know.
Serious.
It's just...
So when did you start mastering it? Do you think
I don't think anyone really masters it until they pass away.
You look pretty comfortable there. I mean, you looked like it was second nature almost in terms of what you're doing. So you don't think you've mastered...
I think I still have a lot more to learn.
Yeah?
Yeah, every day.
Where can people find Inge Schluer?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, I guess. That's the popular thing these days.
Yeah.
INGESCHLUER. I have a fan page there. On Instagram as well. You could email me. My email address is my name, ingeschluer@gmail.com.
You take gigs.
Oh yes, I love weddings and a lot of corporate events. I recently did Christmas Joy with Brian McFarlane.
Right. You were
Played
part
for the
of
opening for the cathedral, and yeah, these are things that I love.
Lovely. So, and I was just before we wrap. I mean, the violin and violinists. You think it's picking up because it's not?
It is.
It is. Yeah.
It is. I mean, there are a lot of young people learning the violin now. I mean, that may be to my detriment because now there'll be a greater pool of people to pull from, but hopefully I could improve as well and keep on top of my game.
What are you going to close off the show with? What are you going to close off?
Well, I know Christmas has just passed, but I hoped everyone would have had a very Merry Christmas, so I'm going to close with Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Yeah, on the violin.
On the violin.
Oh my goodness. Such a pleasure meeting you.
It's nice meeting you too.
And I hope that you're not a stranger to a cup of joy.
Of course
you come
not.
back and...
But I hope you all have me back.
We will. Let me try to get the name right as we go. Yeah. Inge Schluer.
They got the first one right, but the L comes before the U in the...
Schluer.
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 Ah.
Schluer. Inge, thank you very, very much
Thanks
for being
having
here.
me.
Yeah, such a pleasure. And you, of course, can find her all over social media. She's a wonderful violinist player, and she will close off with Have Yourself a Merry Christmas.